Get ready for some upbeat banter, plenty of laughs, and a whole lot of love for the game and our team. This is Buds and Blue Jays. And now your hosts, Riley McConnell and Jesse Burrell.
Oh, good evening, everyone. It is Thursday, July 4th, and welcome to episode 191 of Buds and Blue Jays, your place for all things related to the Toronto Blue Jays. I'm Jesse Burrell, joined as usual by Riley McConnell. Today on the show, the Jays lose 3-4 to the Houston Astros, and our playoff odds currently sit at 3%. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is starting the All-Star game. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa hit the IL, and so much more in this series. But Riley, we have so much to get to in this episode. We had to bring in some help for this one. So we called up a bud, an honorary bud, a girl you might know well for getting hit in the face by Bo Bichette's probably hardest hit ball all season. We know her well as the one girl who can drink a bud almost as good as we can on this show. That's the real Lizzy McGuire. Liz, glad to have you here. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Buds. I'm so proud to be here.
It's going to be great. It's going to be a great time. Riley, well, tough series here against the Houston, but I want to start this episode off with a little bit of a question before we dive deep into the series that just was. And guys, we are 20 days away from the trade deadline. You know, it's going to be very tough. There's a lot of decision points the Toronto Blue Jays have to make going forward here. And I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are. What is your plan for the Toronto Blue Jays? Not necessarily at the trade deadline, but what do we do in these 3 weeks leading up to the trade deadline to give our team the most success for the Toronto Blue Jays going forward?
Well, Jesse, I really think, and first of all, Liz, before I go any further, thank you for being here. This is great, an honor, if anything. What's not honorable is this Toronto Blue Jays team right now.
I will say, I've said before, I've been almost died at the Blue Jays game. I got slammed in the face with a 110-mile-an-hour foul ball straight off our guy Bo Bichette's bat. And it is not the most painful part of the season.
Yikes. You heard it here. That is Liz McGuire. That is a huge hot take. That is true because she knows what she went through. She is living it as a Blue Jays fan. She is at these games. She is watching these games. It is downright painful right now. And what's going to hurt more, guys, and I hate to say this, and I had this conversation with a couple people, and Jesse, yes, there is basically, time's ticking. I mean, it's first of all, happy 4th of July to any American listeners or viewers out there. Second of all, as a Canadian, it's going to be tough because I think we're going to see a lot of our guys go to the 29 other American teams. Can we say adios, Yusei Kikuchi, Danny Jansen? I have a feeling. I think I predicted last week on the show, or last episode anyways. I think Jano's going to go first. I don't know why I have this bad feeling, which is awful.
It's because he shouldn't go. I'm just going to straight up say, Riley, it's because he shouldn't go.
Yeah.
That's why, because you know it.
If I had the choice, I mean, Liz, I don't know if you're like a deep dive viewer, listener of this show, but I had and I don't mean it personally, but I'm pretty hard on a lot of players. I've been very, very hard in scrutinizing of Alejandro Kirk. Yeah. And if I ran 100% of this Blue Jays organization, there would be no doubt in my mind that I would have packaged Alejandro Kirk and Alek Manoah last November. I've said that for sure. Mm-hmm. And I would extend a catcher like Danny Jansen because they don't make power hitting catchers like that anymore. Very unique assets he have.
You can build a team around him.
I don't care about the defense as much as the bat because we know how much we've needed the bat. And Jesse, I guess that your jersey, one of your most pride possession Blue Jays jerseys, probably going to be obsolete here very, very quickly. That is one Yusei Kikuchi. I have a feeling that he is almost next to go for certain. And the highlights of his season, yes, he has struggled in recency. But when he's been on this year, we have gotten just immaculate games from him where he is striking out a ton, getting a ton of swing and misses, going deeper into games than he's ever gone before. And the craziest thing is he's not walking these batters. He's throwing 85-plus pitches and walking out multiple times. 1 base on ball, 0 base on balls. I mean, guys, that's great. But I think that, what are we looking for? Prospect packages, guys. We have guys who can play in the minor league system. I don't know what kind of prospects we get back. That's why I hate things like this, the selling part. obviously you never want to be in this position, but guys, we're not making the playoffs. We're probably going to sell off some assets.
No matter what Ross Atkins says, we are not making the playoffs here in this team. Look, Yusei Kikuchi even muttered some comments after his start here too, that he felt really bad because he was pitching. He knows he's about to be traded. Doesn't sound like he wants to be traded, but it sounds like he knows the nature of the business and that it's wearing on him a little bit. So that could explain maybe a little bit of the subpar starts that Yusei Kikuchi has had here. But obviously, it seems quite obvious. The Blue Jays are likely going to trade their pending free agents. If they can get anything for Kevin Kiermaier or Justin Turner, add them to the list, right? Some of these bullpen guys are probably going to go. You could probably get a decent amount for Trevor Richards even. Jimmy Garcia, once he's healthy, is probably going to go as well. But I want to talk about, like, what can the Blue Jays do in these 2 weeks before they trade these guys to try to get the most value out of them? Like, do you put Justin Turner in the lineup every day and hope to God he gets hot so you can get more for him? Do you play Kevin Kiermaier and hope he gets a hit that's not a single for the first time in like a month and a half? Like, what are you doing if you're the Toronto Blue Jays here to try to maximize the return you can get this trade deadline?
Listen, I think that, like, I know there's like, oh, play him, hope they get hot. I don't think it's going to work out that way. I don't think KK is getting hot anytime soon. His eyes are great, and no one talks about his arms. They're also hot, but I don't think KK is getting hot right now. So I'm like, let the children play, like, let the young guys play. Give us give us a preview of who could be our core in the future. But I think where we are is where we are with what we have and the value of that. And you better hope someone else has a higher perceived value than we do of these guys.
I think that's a good call. Baseball general managers are smart. They know what these players are. They know exactly what they can do. I think the biggest thing that needs to happen now within the next 20 days is Jimmy Garcia needs to prove he's healthy and he can have 2 or 3 dominant outings like he had back then. And that'll ease the doubt of anyone who's trying to buy Jimmy Garcia. And every single team in baseball needs relief pitching, especially going into the playoffs. So if he can prove he's good, we can get a hot top turn haul for him. And that's what I want to see going forward. In terms of Jansen, he's been a bit of a cold before he went on his paternity streak here. He got to DH in the lineup in Game 4 today, which is only the second time all year we've had both Kirk and Danny Jansen in the lineup. Maybe we see a lot more of that so they can put Danny Jansen on a little bit of showcase to see what he can do before the trade deadline.
I mean, in 2023, correct me if I'm wrong, but were we not seeing a ton of flip-flop Jansen, Kirk, DH
all the time? All the time.
And I get that we tried to fill this hole with a guy like Justin Turner DHing and Vogelbach when we had him, which I thought was crazy. You're having Kirk in the lineup to play defense first. You're having Jansen in the lineup to play, as a hitter first. Like, you need at some point, like, you need Jansen's bat in the lineup, even though he's cold. I mean, you throw it at the wall and try and make it stick. I feel like as streaky as Danny Jansen has been, he's still one of our more dangerous hitters.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna, for me, he's my guy. I'm gonna roll with him. That's how I feel. If I'm in the seat of authority, that's not how they see it. Because I feel like, up until he's went on paternity leave. And it could be a mental thing. It could be whatever. He might know that he's, on the block too, which, does he hate it? Like, I mean, you're not going to win with the Blue Jays. He's now the longest tenured player after Tim Meza. And I mean, fan favorite. It's tough. We're losing all these homegrown guys. And, it kind of stings a little bit.
And then just one more thought before we move on to actually recapping the Astros series. If you do not trade Danny Jansen, he stays on the roster post-trade deadline, and you let him leave in free agency, or say you do trade him and he's not here anymore, you're going to spend all offseason looking for a guy like Danny Jansen. Like, we've tried having Alejandro Kirk as catcher 1, does not work. We've proved that. We've seen it. It can't happen. And I don't know if you guys have looked at the other free agent catchers around Major League Baseball this offseason. It's like Kyle McCann, Kyle Higashioka, Carson Kelly, as none of those guys are Danny Jansen. So I think if there is one guy that maybe we could see a big extension for before the trade deadline, which I'm pessimistic about, but I hope for, it is Danny Jansen.
Yeah, in the age too, the catchers you just named, significantly older in terms of hitting free agency, because I think you meant James McCann,
I did mean James McCann,
yeah.
yes.
Kyle McCann is certainly under team control from my Oakland Athletics. However, yeah, Jansen would be the option. Liz, you said it, because it's probably the wrong thing to do. The Jays management,
We'll do it. They're going to do it.
We'll do it.
We'll do
And
it.
hey, prospect packages, as interesting as they are, baseball is a wonderful sport where we get this return of prospects, and are they going to pan out? Are they not? And it's a scary thing. I mean, because I don't know if the Jays are going to, Rogers has got all this money, they say, and they own this baseball team in Toronto. I don't know if you guys know. I wish they would splash some more money the players' way, especially a guy like Danny Jansen, who has proven this value. Yes, he goes on cold streaks. Catcher is a very hard position to play at the major leagues. I know that everyone hits in the lineup, but there was a time in baseball when baseball was great, when it was a full contact sport, where your catcher was elite if he threw out base runners and hit 225. Just saying. I know times have changed and everyone's got a hit, but there was a time when baseball was more fun and catchers got a little bit excused if they weren't hitting the cover off the ball or striking out a lot.
I agree with you very much. Liz, did you have one more thought before we start looking back at the series that was against Houston?
Basically, I just extend Jansen. Like, please, just do that. It's a smart decision. Anything else, again, will be subpar. It will drive me insane for the next 4 years watching also Jansen mash somewhere else.
Yeah. I haven't thought of where he's going to go, but maybe I'll save that for other side of the internet. Anyways, moving on. The Jays did just play 4 games against the Houston Astros. Now, it's tough. We keep losing these series. We split the series against the Yankees. We come here, we lose 3 out of 4 against Houston. I don't think any of us expected anything different from the way this Blue Jays team was and the way that Houston came through. I am just very thankful we don't have to see Yordan Alvarez hit against us anymore, because that guy single-handedly destroyed the Toronto Blue Jays. He's really good, by the way. Didn't know if you guys know that. Yeah. But there were some positives with the Toronto Blue Jays here in this series, or you can start with a negative if you like. But Liz, we'll start with you. Your player of the series, or maybe a player in this series that caught your attention the most, was who?
Let's see. Vlad. I'm going to go with my guy. I'm going to go Spencer Horwitz.
Good choice.
I'm going to go Spenny. He has just been unabashedly just crushing the ball in his, good-looking Bradley Cooper-esque type of way, which I really appreciated. He was never the flashy guy. I like that he was kind of a surprise to me anyway. And so he's been really fun to watch play. He also signed my ball and took a picture with me at batting practice.
Nice.
When our stars didn't show up, they try to get Bo's attention. I try to get Vlad. He's like, nah, Spencer shows up. It's awesome. Also, who else showed up? Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge signed my ball. It was super nice to me. But anyway, so that has just been really delightful, because everything else seems like it's been so much work and such failure. So when I see Horwitz just crushing balls for me, it feels like out of nowhere and so effortlessly. I'm like, this is great. I also obviously going to shout out our boy Vladdy, who has been having a really good hot streak and makes me feel good, because everyone roots for Vladdy. It's so hard to not root for Vladdy. Post haircut Vladdy has been continuing to crush. So I've been really happy about that. I'm also going to shout out Yuriel Rodriguez. He pitched that season, just cried. I didn't have the team back him up, but you know what? He did it. And I saw him in Cleveland. I was in Cleveland when he, I think he led it like that seven run first.
Yeah, only got 4 outs in that start in Cleveland. Yeah,
I was there that night. It was trash. So it's nice to see somebody have a really good night, especially while wearing an overly baggy Canada Day jersey, because they're wearing the jerseys from last year.
Yes, we did notice that too. They were last year's Canada Day jersey. Yes, did know that. I just wanted to add on Spencer Horwitz there. Not only, hey, nice guy, great teeth, which my mom noticed. My mom noticed Spencer Horwitz's teeth. I don't know how from the right center field bullpen, but great teeth.
Mary Burrow's got one hell of an
eye. She's something, that one. But I just wanted to point out what he's done on the field too. He went 0 for 4 in Game 3 of this series, but before that happened, he had gotten on base in every single start he had made this season. That is ridiculous. I think he's got like a 942 OPS now. He hit a fastball into Schneider's hot dog porch for a home run, his first home run at Rogers Center too. And then he followed up the 0 for 4 day by getting 3 hits in Game 4. I don't think it's a bold take saying Spencer Horwitz might be our best or second best hitter behind Vlad on the team currently.
I love the idea is if we are going to hit a rebuild, Like, don't touch Horwitz. Let him
Mhm.
develop with that team. He has been so good, so important. When he's really at the start of this year, Jesse, if you were to ask me guys who would play an important role for the 2024 season, Spencer Horwitz's name doesn't appear anywhere on my list. I don't have him on my radar. I have him playing some games at first base. I don't have the versatility defensively. I don't have the power. I have him as a slap hitter, sure, that can hit the ball to all fields. The power was unexpected, but more unexpected for me. I really like the elite eye at the plate. And
Yeah.
it goes back to his bat to ball skills, equally as good. I'll go back to the at bat he had against Emmanuel Clase. So he's able to stick in. He's hit a double or 2 home run game, and he's able to string together multi-hit games. I don't care that he went 0 for 4 in one of these. He could go on an 0 for 18 stretch in the next, knock on wood, he doesn't, but he could go on an 0 for 18 stretch starting tomorrow. And I would still be impressed with what he has done this year. He is, I mean, I can't be the only one he's exceeded expectations for. Spencer Horwitz has been one of the most pleasant surprises with this Toronto Blue Jays team this year.
Yeah, and if you look, he leads the team in walk rate at 14.6%, and only IKF and Ernie Clement have struck out less than Spencer Horwitz so far this year, which absolutely bananas there for Spencer Horwitz. We got a lot to get to, so let's move through these next 2 quick. But Riley, did you have a thought on Yariel Rodriguez or Vladimir Guerrero Jr., as Liz brought up there?
Probably deserves to be the starting first base.
He is confirmed,
AL.
actually.
I know, but probably deserves it, is what I'm saying. If you look at everything, I think that the AL actually has weaker first basemen than the National League. I'm not going to get into where Vladdy ranks among the 30 teams. I'm glad he's an all-star game starter because I don't think that we are going to have a lot of all-stars this year, to say the very least. Secondly, Yariel Rodriguez, by far the best outing of his career.
He looked good. He looked really good.
He looked very good. Hey, if we can get anything close to that over the next stretch of games, I mean, I'm all for that. We have this guy for 4 years. Like, I want to see him develop. He's developing at the major league level. So this is a sign of things to come, some good things to come out of him, because it was an absolute gem of a performance. Liz, you hit the nail on the head. Nothing to back him up offensively. So that's unfortunate. In a game like that, where you're cruising, it would be nicer with the lead. Unfortunately, the Blue Jays just don't roll that way sometimes, and we lack the ability to score runs. Yariel Rodriguez was still great.
Mm-hmm. Well, Liz, you hit the hammer. Oh, go ahead.
So I'm just saying, man, this team, though, we didn't have runs, but you know what, guys? Would have been cooler if we did. That's it.
Amen. Amen. We've made the comment before on this show, like, hey, if the Blue Jays are going to suck, at least be fun.
I know. All I asked for this year was, you know what, you're going to be 500 at best, but let's party on. Let's have some highs and lows. Let's get some dingers. Nope.
Hopefully the second half or something happens, we can get into that. But Liz, you hit the hammer on the head with the 3 probably best players on this of the series against Houston. I want to get your take on 3 struggling hitters now that the Toronto Blue Jays have had. First one, Kevin Kiermaier. I don't need to go into any detail about it. We all know how bad he's been. Did you know he's been hitless in 15 of his last 18 starts? And in those 3 games where he has gotten hits, all singles for Kevin Kiermaier. Yep. That's not very good. Davis Schneider as well was quietly a 2 for 11 in this series, and he was like 0 for 9 before that finale game. The chase rate has gone way up for Davis Schneider, and for a guy who's got the power that we know he has, we kind of want to see him swinging at the pitches we know he can do damage with. He's got that chase-itis thing that Bo Bichette had really had. And then the last one I wanted to bring up here, Addison Barger, guys.
What's he been doing? Has he done anything?
Yeah. Which is wild because Riley and I have been Addison Barger fans for a long time. We love the swing. We love the tools that Addison Barger has. Like, we know there's a good player in there somewhere. But if you just look at the whole season line now, it's 58 at-bats. And honestly, if you would have told us at the time he got called up that Addison Barger was going to have 58 at-bats, we would have probably said, oh, he's got at least 6 home runs now. He's got something going on. And it's like, he's not. So I want to get your take, and we'll start with you, Liz, on the Kiermaier, Addison Barger, and Davis Schneider.
I see 2 different categories here of problems for me.
Okay.
Now, yeah, they both fall into guys not hitting. Deal. But when I see Kiermaier not hitting, I'm like, you should know
expected,
better.
Right?
It's expected.
Yeah.
You should know better. You are a seasoned professional, a baseball man. And so I'm like, I don't know what's going on there. Is it lack of effort? I don't know. Baseball is so nuanced and complex. But when I see the two younger guys, I'm less annoyed. I'm like, these guys are learning. This is what's going to happen. You're going to go on droughts. Things aren't going to go the way you wanted. I feel like things will pick up for them. And so I have a lot more empathy towards our younger guys who are just kind of, this is their first couple of seasons in the majors, and I see it as an investment in the future. Yeah, Barger is he's a big dude. I'm like, he's a big guy. He's a babe. What can you say? But I think that I think that I have a lot of empathy for these guys. And so, I expect things from them that are better than this, but Kiermaier, I can't say the same there.
Yeah, I'm with you there. I think I said last week, like, I would rather, if we're gonna lose baseball games, because we're gonna call this down the stretch right now. We are down the stretch. Even maybe after the All-Star break, we'll call it down the stretch. But I'm gonna predict, guys, that down the stretch, we're gonna continue to lose baseball games, as unfortunate as that sounds. And I'm way more forgiving. Like I said, even still a Davis Schneider, and a Horwitz, a Barger, but it drives me insane to watch veterans. And I know, listen, Kevin Kiermaier has been like an 800 OPS hitter maybe once in his big league career. Maybe like Jesse, yeah, you can get on that. Like Kevin Kiermaier is not, even a league average hitter in his prime. George Springer, the same. He was in his prime. He's heating up. He's not heating up. Who knows what's going on in the next series with him? But yeah, let Barger figure it out. Let Spencer Horwitz, if he decides to go on, like I said, a big over drought. I would rather see these guys and struggle through, because exactly, you're going to go, hey, these guys are developing. And yeah, look at the team control that these guys have, the tools that a guy like, especially Addison Barger, has. It's like, you want to see this guy, explode, essentially, because you see that the tools are there, and let him put it all together, because you would really love a guy like that to play on your team. And I mean, it comes down to patience. I'm really impatient. I don't want to sit through a rebuild, but I think we're going to have to. And it starts with putting these younger guys, these Buffalo boys, they're going to see a lot of playing time here post-trade deadline. If we're cleaning house, you're going to see, maybe, hopefully not like a Baroa or a Jimenez too often at the same time on the diamond, but you're going to see a big time switch up, and you're going to see these guys with rookie eligibility play a lot of these baseball games.
Yeah, I think that's the plan for this team. Is you need to see post All-Star break who's going to be part of the next great Blue Jays team. Is it going to be Leo Jimenez? Is it going to be Addison Barger? And you need to give these players a shot to see if they can do so.
And I don't even think we're there yet. I think that that's even 2 steps ahead. Like, who is just on our roster next year, right?
Yeah,
maybe won't be the center of the rebuild, but will be there playing, for the Toronto Blue Jays. And Riley, I yearn for a rebuild. After last year's wildcard game, I felt like I got out of a bad relationship, and I was like, they were no fun all year. I yearn for rebuild.
Yeah, this is the time, and it's gonna be fun. Like, it takes me back. It's been a while. I remember my fondest days of the days where the Eric Hinskys and Alex Rioses were up and comers. Jesse's favorite baseball player of all time, Travis Schneider, just coming up.
I saw a Travis Snyder jersey at the Dome last night, by the way.
Good. Excellent. Yeah. Like, I mean, listen, being a Blue Jays fan since 1994 has been somewhat difficult in certain stretches. It's had certainly more lowlights than it has highlights. And I honestly think it's going to be a while till we see a good string of highlights. I think we just have to suck it up through what we got. And I'm not going to say where we point the blame. We're definitely, I mean, Liz, months down the road, if you're still doing these, interviews and pods and whatever else. I mean, Jesse and I are going to break down what the hell needs to happen, because we don't think that the front office should be anywhere near making any of these calls to tear it down.
At least we got cup holders, though. Don't you understand?
Cup holders.
We have cup holders.
Cup holder.
And only if you're in the rich sections you have them, but there are more cup holders.
Do you know
My
how many
problem
times
with
I've
that
sat with a drink between my feet? That's what a cup holder is in the 500s, right?
It is, but with the best sight lines.
Yes.
Honestly. And the mojitos you get at the Catch Bar, which I was drinking last night, comes in a square cup, so it doesn't even fit in the damn cup holder.
Oh man, they didn't align that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's all good. We made it work. You just drink 2 of them and you drink them quickly, and it's all good there. Anyways, guys, let's talk pitching. We've already talked Yariel Rodriguez, and I don't want to talk about the bullpen yet. Too depressing. We'll get there later. Let's talk about the other 3 starting pitchers that made appearances in this series. We already kind of talked a little bit about Yusei Kikuchi, but his line in this series: 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. We already talked about his comments post game, so we don't have to go on to Kikuchi too much more. But the other 2, Chris Bassett, who pitched today, 5 innings, 8 hits, 4 earned runs, 4 walks, 3 strikeouts. This could have been the first kind of subpar start you could say Chris Bassett has had in his last 11, 12. He battled. He gave up 3 in the first, then really did settle in, but still 12 base runners over 5 innings. Not the best we've seen from Chris Bassett. And then Jose Barrios in his start, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run. 1 home run allowed, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and only 1 strikeout for Jose Barrios. And I looked this up. In his last 5 starts now, he has a 5.97 ERA. He's allowed more earned runs than he has strikeouts. So not great for Jose Barrios there. So, guys, what are your thoughts on the rest of our rotation? You can include Kikuchi if you'd like.
Yeah, I think that certainly the most concerning one for myself is Barrios, or I should say has been Jose Barrios, because he was pitching lights out to start this year, and slowly, in this rotation, in this mess of what this Blue Jays season is, I think people are kind of have had really short leash kind of mode on with Barrios, and then as the season started and seeing how well he was doing, the leash got really long. The world collapsed around Barrios. He's still pitching well. Now he's starting to fall off too, and I think not enough people are noticing that Jose Barrios has actually struggled, because certainly it's uncharacteristic for him to have those starts as frequently as he has since his first full season with the club, which we don't really love to talk about here. But as hot as he started this year, I mean, he's gone ice cold. I mean, if you want to talk about our best pitcher right now, Chris Bassett, I don't care about the start he had right now in the game. What did you say? The game today, whatever his line was. I mean, he did absolutely fantastic, and he has been lights out and our best pitcher, like as a whole, bullpen included. Like Chris Bassett has been the guy this year. I don't care about, Yariel Rodriguez had his start, whatever. That's fantastic. He was lights out as well, but my confidence is riding with a guy like Chris Bassett, because I like the repetitious quality starts, and that's all he's really produced this year.
Liz, did you have a thought on the rest of the rotation there?
No, it's just here's the thing. It's like the rest of the team has been such trash. I've been so mad about 27 things that usually I'm focused on our starters, but I've been giving them a little bit of passes, because I'm like, yeah, trash, all trash. Trash. You can pitch a perfect game. The offense is going to kick in for you. Such trash. But I will say this: I love Kikuchi. I hope that we kept him, and I hope that things worked out. I wouldn't mind seeing him.
Preaching to the choir, Liz. Fantastic. Right?
Yeah. And so the thing is with him is when things were going wrong, we moved into the bullpen. There was all these rumblings, right? What was going on with Montoyo? And there was Montoyo was dissing him in interviews, and the rumor was behind the scenes players were bringing him drinks on the plane. They're treating him so nicely, and I thought there's something here. There's something else going wrong here. And then I really got to know him on the field as a competitor who could throw really good games, and he could. And when a game kind of went astray, he could bring it back again, which we didn't see from before. So I hope nothing but good things for the coach. I would love to see him next year. I'm just going to speak as to Bassett. What I love about watching Bassett is he's more mad when he does worse, or when he lets runs in, or
he's hard on himself.
He's hard on himself.
He's so hard on himself.
When he smashed that iPad, and we were winning that game when he smashed that iPad. But I'm like, this man is excellent at pitching. He is such a pro. He's such a competitor, and I'm so glad that we have him.
One of my favorite Chris Bassett stories was when him and his wife set up the foundation for every win that Chris Bassett gets. They're donating like $10,000 to some charity, and his wife just looks at him and goes like, "But Chris, what if you don't get any wins?" And Chris just looked at her with like the dumbest look I've ever seen on her face. Like, "What do you mean I'm not going to get any wins? Like, come on, I'm Chris Bassett. I'm the guy."
He got 16 last year, didn't he? I mean, he got.
He
some
did,
wins.
yep. And he's pitched his best stretch over the last 11 starts for Chris Bassett and has only won 4 of them. And the Blue Jays as a team, I think, have only won 5.
Yep.
So, but that's not on Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett is doing really good things. Guys, just give me a yes or no answer. Aside from Yusei Kikuchi, are any of our other 3 guys in our rotation, Barrios, Bassett, and Gausman, being traded this deadline? Just a yes or no?
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think so either. I think if we're playing like a fantasy baseball, like the value might be as high as it's ever been right now, but I agree. I think it's going to be a no as well.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to go through there. All right. Well, guys, we have to talk bullpen. We don't have to spend too much time of it. We know the Toronto Blue Jays bullpen has been downright awful. They're dead last in WAR by quite a bit, actually, over the Colorado Rockies. 29th in ERA, last and 5th, and even the strikeout numbers are not that high. During the 8-game homestand, the Blue Jays bullpen had an ERA of 7.64. Simply not good enough, no matter what statistic I want to give you about the Blue Jays bullpen. And pick your reliever. Jose Quas or whatever was terrible in this game. He did much things. Zach Pop was terrible in this game. Even guys like Brandon Littell and Bowden Francis, who we pumped up a little bit, have ERAs close to 6 now. So it's been bad all around. I don't know how you fix this. I don't know what to do. It's just Liz, you've talked a lot about trash and a pile of trash. I think that's just what they should rename the bullpen now. It's just the trash yard.
Trash yard.
In there, and that's where all it goes.
Agreed. I think that I don't understand bullpens, man. I don't get it. It's like sometimes they're magical, and then they all just be trash. I don't know if it's just a Blue Jays problem. I've never felt good in the past. I don't know. It's very rare that I felt like, oh, they're going to the bullpen. This is going to work out. Like, there was some times this year with our boy Yimmy, and I was like, okay, we can hold this down. Is it just do other teams, they pull their bullpen in, and you're like, this is great. They're calling the bullpen. Does that happen?
I think if you're the Cleveland Guardians, you have just one of the best bullpens in all of baseball. And I think there's another lot, like a small lot of teams that have 3 guys you can really go to, and it doesn't seem like the Jays have.
Well, the Astros in this series had 3 guys in the back end.
Yeah, exactly. And I think there are more teams scattered across Major League Baseball that are able to not throw 3 guys at any time, but in a basically severity. You have a closing pitcher that will just close games. You have your setup guy that can close games that you feel comfortable. And then you have your top middle relief guy that also sets up. And if he is basically your 3rd string closer. And I feel like that was, 2023 Eric Swanson's role, which I don't even want to get into that, what's happening there, but we don't have those high leverage guys. We barely have one guy because of injuries and who's flaking out. Guys getting sent down, guys just falling right apart. It's terrible. Like, I don't want to say that I've guys that I've kind of had a stink out for, kind of had it out for. Trevor Richards, I don't know why, and
he's like our best reliever now.
He's like our best reliever right now. Makes me eat my words. And now here I am hyped on going into this year. I had Tim Meza and Eric Swanson. And then look what happened to them. It's very unfortunate because guys you think is going to do well. The bullpen is a weird place. I'll just say that. You look at baseball reference pages of a ton. Unless you're an Eric Gagne or a Mariano Rivera, you're going to see some dips and spikes in a Dasmano Marte type pitchers bullpen. There's a name for you, Jesse. I thought I'd throw that
nice
one.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Like you're going to see a ton of spikes up and down with these middle relief pitchers that get high leverage opportunities.
Yeah, it's hey, look, Jimmy Garcia is on his way back. He's coming through some rehab assignments in Buffalo, but even if he does come back, he'll be shipped out shortly after. The one way to really underperform your season record is to have a bad bullpen, and the one way to surprise some teams and have more wins than you think you should is to have a good bullpen. So it's hard to blame Ross Atkins and company for Romano getting hurt, for Meza and Swanson being downright awful, and then everyone else who came into that pen. but still, it's a tough look when literally everybody, except maybe Trevor Richards, has underperformed in your pen this year.
Oh, I'll take that one. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
I was
go
gonna,
ahead. Yeah,
I'm not pumping Richards' tires too much. I'm still skeptical. Like he's been great. I hate talking about how bad we've been. It's the bullpen. Listen, you're a bullpen pitcher for a reason. Every bullpen pitcher is basically a failed starting pitcher. I get that. And then guys can get success as a closing pitcher. But like as of right now, like, oh, Jordan Romano's healthy. Are we just gonna throw him back in there and hope that he strikes out 3 batters on 9 pitches every time he goes? I don't think we're getting off that lucky. I think Romano's gonna come back, and there is a non-zero chance that he comes back and is not quite himself. Or same with Garcia. There's a good chance that our bullpen will basically crawl through the rest of this season.
And speaking of our bullpen too, we did get some injury updates. So while we're on the topic of it, Jordan Romano was announced shut down for 6 weeks before we even start throwing again, which means we're probably at least 2 months before we even see him in rehab games, which puts him back if he's going to be on the big leagues in September. So quick question, and Liz, you can start. Should we just shut Romano down, or is it worth something to try to get him built up to throw?
No, I would shut him down. I would shut him down. I don't want to see him come back in a situation where we have like some low impact, like leverage games left. It's September, a couple like weeks left. It doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't know. I would just shut him down. Shut him down. Take the time you need. We'll see you next year, my guy.
Get healthy because you know the stuff is great, right?
Throw a simulated game.
Yeah.
Whatever they do. I don't know a lick about what pitchers do for rehab assignments. I know that's one of the things. Do something like that. You're still throwing. Throw from a mound, throw how you would in a baseball game, but just let's not absolutely ruin everything we've kind of, I would say, build towards for, but we're about to tear it all down. So what the hell does it matter anyways? But I mean, let's just try and keep Jordan Romano alive, because he has been something good since the 2020 season. He has been a kind of a bright star in what's now a very dark sky for the Toronto Blue Jays.
Truth.
Keep him good.
Our bullpen feels a little bit like the drummers from Spinal Tap that just keep dying. That they just keep getting hit by lightning and having freak accidents happen to them. And yeah, I really believe let's just put him somewhere safe for a while. Wow,
Jesse, you metalhead, Jesse, you love that one.
I've moshed a time or two in my time, Riley. It's
you metalhead. Jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, you screaming BS.
Anyway.
Give him a second. Jesse will figure this out. Jesse's just running some technical difficulties. I don't know what is going on with him, so now I'm just here with Liz. We're still live. He'll figure it out.
Hey, Riley, I'm just going to steal it. Riley, do you think that Romano will be our closer in the future?
Listen, I thought that guys like Hagen Danner would come up and be electric. I thought that Nate Pearson would still be able to hold this thing together. I mean, listen, we've been Jays fans long enough. We can track it down to oh man, Nate Pearson's going to be the best starting pitcher in a rotation in 3 years.
Wasn't that fun?
No, it wasn't fun, because I truly thought that. And same with those other 2 guys too. Jesse will be back here. I don't know what his issue is. Sometimes there's internet issues at his place. Could be raining, could be weather pendant. But honestly, Liz, it's more or less, with the pitchers that we've had, it's hard to grow our top prospects. I mean, we've had this guy, Kloffenstein, Pardinho, Nate Pearson. They've all kind of, fizzled out. They've lost their blue chip status. And I would like to see at least Nate Pearson work into a high leverage relief role. If he wasn't going to be that 22-year-old, 23-year-old up and coming ace, at least I would love to see him get, high leverage spots out of the back end of the bullpen. Jesse Burrell, thank you for joining us. Buds and Blue Jays.
Yeah.
I was just talking about your boy Nate Pearson. I don't even know how we were more or less just filling the time. Anyways, glad you're back, though. I'll hand the reins back over to you, as you probably have a full agenda of ideas. And me, I don't have a lick of paper in front of me. I just show up and talk. That's what you pay me to do.
You do great, Riley. Fantastic. All the good stuff. I was actually trying to get into Isaiah Kiner-Falefa's injury, who did get hurt there. And it was very sudden, like maybe 20 minutes before first pitch, if that. And he's considered week to week. He hurt his knee stretching, which sounds like Isaiah Kiner-Falefa is going to be gone at least a month. And I don't know if you've checked the Blue Jays WAR leaderboards for a while, but on position player side, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa has been the most valuable on our team. So that's another hit for this Toronto Blue Jays team. And to go aside, when Bo Bichette got hurt, for example, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa played every single inning at short, and I think he's leading the team in hits, or maybe he's right behind Vladdy for leading the team in hits. This is going to be a tough loss. So in the meantime, I think we just platoon Barger and Ernie Clement, correct? But I'm curious to hear what you guys think.
Yeah, I don't dislike that idea one bit. And in fact, because I don't think we're getting anything for Kevin Kiermaier at the trade deadline. I think he's a flaming pile of not good baseball player right now. And I would move Varsho into the outfield, center field, more specifically.
Yeah.
Davis Schneider into left, put Barger in right, give him the majority of reps in right field, and kind of platoon him with George Springer instead if George Springer decides to go cold. That would kind of make things easier for Ernie Clement to field a lot at third base, which I would love to see. He struggled for a bit defensively at third. I love the kind of ignition, the spark plug that is Ernie Clement in the Blue Jays lineup, because he is not by any means a household name. He's been traded, he's been waived, he's been released, and now he's found a real John McDonald-esque role on this Blue Jays team. And you love to root. We love on Buds and Blue Jays. It is pretty much illegal not to root for a player like that. We love our platoon infielder type people. And Ernie Clement is just one of those. I think he's incredibly exciting. I would love Barger to get these innings, but I really want Clement in that lineup as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to concur 100% with my guy, Riley. Even when Ernie was struggling at third base, he was playing the type of baseball I kind of wanted to watch. Scrambly, high stakes baseball. The one that the kids are going to play, right? And I was like, yeah, okay. That's what I wanted. I'm game for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to point out about Ernie Clement. I was messing through some baseball stats this afternoon, and he has swung at 60% of the pitches that have come to the plate. He's the definition of I'm going to go up there and I'm going hacking. If that holds for the course of the season, it's literally the reverse Cavan Biggio, which is fantastic.
Did he play for us?
Cavan Biggio? Yeah, remember him?
No.
2019 hit a cycle. Never heard from him again.
I don't want to look. I know I can close my eyes and visualize Cavan Biggio's Baseball Reference in 2019 just sticks out like a sore freaking thumb.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he walked 71 damn times that year. He struck out quite a bit. But look that up, Jesse. How many times did Cavan Biggio walk? If it's 71, then I need to stay off Baseball Reference. I'm banned for a week.
71 walks for Cavan Biggio in 2019.
I am banned from Baseball Reference for a week. That's just I need to stay on. I need to at least look at other teams. Like I know for my immaculate grid, I got to at least look at the Padres or something.
There you go. My stat I was trying to say on Ernie Clement, though, if that number holds through the course of the season, it'll be literally a Blue Jays record of all time of every single player would belong to Ernie Clement. So fantastic stuff. All right, guys, a little bit of rapid fire here to end the episode here. We got about 10 minutes to go, so let's run through this thing. First of all, Canada Day at the Dome, one of the best days of the year on the calendar. I got to go with the Rogers Center for the first time to see Canada Day at the Dome. Great experience. Do you guys have a favorite memory of a Canada Day passed at Rogers Center?
Yeah, I'm going to take this one. There was one. Okay. Was it Ryan Goins pitching in extra innings? Was it that?
18 innings. Yeah,
18
like
innings.
a 7.5 inning game. Yeah.
That game.
I've gone to a lot of these Canada Day games. I certainly remember that. I was not there for that one.
Darwin Barney also pitched in that game too, if my memory holds right.
It might have been Darwin. It was one of them pitching, and I
think they both pitched.
Okay, yeah. Wild.
Because I think one got in and one got the loss. I think Drew Hutchinson pitched like 6 relief innings in there too, and our other bud Jesse Turiso at that game.
It was
7.5 hours there.
There you go.
It was there. It was fantastic. All right. Next rapid fire quiz. Both Danny Jansen and Justin Turner went on paternity leave at the same time around the same thing. So, guys, what was going on 9 months ago between Justin Turner and Danny Jansen? Was that around the time Justin Turner signed his contract? Or are we, what are we thinking?
You're being, these are funny questions.
These are good ones. I mean, this is the thing. I don't know what they were rocking there, but I know, I've said this before. Well, it's paternity leave. We've got a team that isn't hitting dingers, but they sure can hit dongers.
That's hey.
You gotta mute.
Beautiful. It's not like a Dodgers situation where remember in like April when like 7 or 8 guys of their team all went on paternity leave. But
wow.
Blue Jays, there you go. Mm-hmm. All right. I got a few more. This one is not nearly as sexual as that one, but this is just a stat. And I want you guys to give me your thought on this. The Blue Jays have hit 78 home runs on the season, quite low than what we thought it would be, but they've grounded into 75 double plays. So my question to you guys is, which number is higher at the end of the season? The amount of home runs we hit or the amount of double plays we've grounded into?
If it's not home runs, then this is that's unacceptable.
Well, half of those were Vladdy, and his fixed swing is fixed. So I'm gonna go. The home runs are going up.
It has to. If we finish the year with more grounded into double plays than home runs, first of all, I'm behind the controller playing because I ground into more freaking double plays on MLB The Show than anyone else. Never strike out, but I sure as hell know how to ground into a double play. Real George Springer, Bo Bichette-esque double play inning killer, big time. But if we don't, we need to pick it up. Surely, because baseball is a game of numbers, and the baseball gods will be so good to us in this after the All-Star break. Surely we're going to get some, a 20 home run second half by Varsho with a 25 home run half by Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Oh boy, wouldn't that be nice? Highly doubtful, but surely we finish with higher home runs.
Just as you mentioned Varsho there, I wanted to bring this up earlier, but we don't have to go into it now. Did you know he's now hitting under 200, and in his last 30 games, he has 1 home run? Does Dalton Varsho? Just thought I'd want to bring that up. All right, some more rapid fire questions. This one comes from Brandon, who's in our chat right now. We've got to answer his question, and he just says butter tarts with or without raisins.
Oh, get the if you eat butter tarts with raisins, you belong in a mental institute.
I will go there. I'm raisins all day. I am.
Oh my god!
Let's go.
Oh my god! Raisins are awful.
They offcut the sweetness of the tart. I'm pro raisin. I stand.
Anti raisin. Give me a. It's called a butter tart.
To break the tie, I'm not a big butter tart guy myself. I haven't had many sweets over the last 3 years as it is, but I love a good oatmeal raisin cookie. So
you are a sellout, Burl. You are a sellout.
Butter tarts aren't my forte. All right, next one though, and these ones are more for Liz because you are a guest on the show, and we're gonna ask most of our guests these questions. You're a Blue Jays fan. You're coming on here. We got 3 of them. So the first one: what's your favorite Blue Jays jersey of all time?
Great. My favorite Blue Jays jersey of all time is, no one's gonna like this. I love the powder blue pullovers, like the ones that I had when they were wearing like the spandex belts. I love those jerseys deeply. And in second place goes in the batting practice jerseys. Mitchell and Ness put one out. If anybody's seen my horrible baseball card where my face is mashed, I am wearing a Mitchell's and Ness Joe Carter, probably 1980 or 1993 batting practice jersey. It's gorgeous. It's got holes in it. It's less hot than the other retro jerseys. The sparkle jerseys, get out of here.
Riley, what about you? I don't know if we ever got your take on what your favorite.
It's right here. Can't you see?
The sparkle jersey.
The alternate, the fun J. That is our mascot on the jersey right there. If I can learn how to set my phone. I love those ones. The black alternates, the Jesse Litches, the AJ Burnett's, the Vernon Wells. When these are dark days, people. Josh Towers, Jesse's favorite pitcher of all time, Brian Tallett.
Hate Brian Tallett. All right, we have to move on. We have a Brian Tallett mention. That's how you know we gotta move on there. All right, Liz, we got 2 more, and these are gonna come from your most Blue Jays fans are gonna know this. I have 2 "Where were you when" moments. The first one, I think you can guess. Jose Bautista's bat flip. Where were you? What was the story?
Okay, this is the most insane part. So I got a job cutting wires Okay.
Nice.
I was like cutting wires for an industrial art installation. All right. I was like working for a buddy in his garage. Okay.
Wow.
It gets weird. It gets weird.
It's so legit, by
And
the
I'm
way.
like cutting wires and I'm watching the game on the television out there, but there's a delay. So
Okay.
I'm like cutting wires, and these things are gonna hang like snowflakes in the path of somewhere fancy in Toronto. Cutting snowflakes, cutting wires, and I hear people screaming and they run out. And I'm like, what up? I'm like, why are you guys out here? We're losing. This isn't working out. And they're like, and everyone stops breathing. And then it comes on my television. And then we all start jumping together. That was beautiful.
That is fantastic.
I am so sending the ministry after you. That is wild. We're gonna move to the next question. That's a great story about
it. It was like non-electrical wires. It was like metal cords.
All right, and then my last question here is it's another where were you when moment, and where were you when you realized Shohei Ohtani was indeed not on that plane and not
okay, so I took the day off work to be on Twitter all day and waste my day.
I also took the day off work to be on Twitter all day.
It was November, right? And I was in charge of getting the family Christmas puzzle. I told my mom I was getting Christmas puppies on a puzzle. Lies, I got this real sexy mermaid, this like real like slutty mermaid, and I was standing there with the box in the hand. And I saw the guy got off the plane, and I've been tracking it all day. And I thought, that seems about right for Toronto.
Yeah, and from that day forward, Shohei Ohtani thought Canadians were absolutely crazy people.
But we showed.
Would he be wrong though?
We showed him that.
I think we do just fine. I think we
do too. All right, guys. Well. That was a great time, great segment, great episode. We went a little long, but we had a lot to talk about, a lot of stories to share. And where else would you get a story about Liz cutting wires or all this cool stuff that we could share on this episode here today? With that being said, guys, upcoming series, we go to the West Coast. We're heading to Seattle. Do you guys just want to give me a prediction? How are we going to do? Or we're probably not going to win many of these games. So did you think about maybe got a bold prediction about who might be the player of the week this time in Seattle?
Oh, just because we were talking about him. Fresh on my mind, hot off the presses. Give me Ernie Clement having a good series. Okay. Maybe not the best player from this series, but for what he's going to do in this series, I have Ernie having another good series.
I like that. I'm going to pick the roommate, Spencer.
Love it.
Okay, then I feel like I got to go Davis Schneider, right? We got to take out three.
Hopefully he gets the at bats in this series. You know, he's due. You can't let him sit and get cold for too long.
Hey, good pitching on Seattle's side too, but their offense sucks, so maybe we can get some good pitching performance from us. Shout out to Jesse Teresa, who says Addison Barger is going to be the MVP, so we would love to see Addison Barger get going here as well. Guys, that's going to do it for our episode here today. Thank you, everybody, for listening, for commenting, for tuning in. Riley McConnell, as always. Liz, thank you for joining us. Stick around after we end here, and we can chat a little bit more. But, guys, for Riley McConnell, for Liz McGuire, I'm Jesse Burrell. Thank you all for joining us. We will be back with another guest after the Seattle series to recap it then. With a lot of stuff going on. In the meantime, let's go Blue Jays.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.